Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. We got videos today from Anton Daniels.
Lawsuit not too long ago by an artist that was like hired to your label that was dismissed.
Twice.
What did you learn going through that?
Never work with women.
Oh, come on.
I mean, men get red pilled even if they don't watch red pill content. You know, as much as we call this red pill, it's just the truth. People have been going through red pill in a sense ever since the dawn of time when men realized how they're dealing with women and how women are, right? It's just as society progressed, that nature is just less prevalent that men know about women's nature. So that's all it is.
There's truth in every joke. But it's a sad truth. Like, I will never be alone in a room with a woman that I work with, like ever again.
Why?
It's too risky.
It is. I think a lot of young men, older men, just men in general that end up doing well in life have this fear / danger always looming over you, right? Unless you are very aware and very conscious of not being in rooms by yourselves or always have recordings of everything. It's so easy for women to just say, he did it. And you could be the most nice guy with the best reputation or whatever it is. It doesn't even matter. As soon as she says, he did it, all of that gets thrown out the window. All of the things that you've earned throughout how many ever years of your life to build your reputation gets destroyed almost immediately with just the he did it. Not even the he did it and here's proof. No, just the he did it part.
That case was dismissed twice in two different states.
Was it done with prejudice?
And there's hardly no mention of it online. When that case was brought up,
I actually didn't hear anything about Jason Derulo going over, false accusations.
it was on every single blog, every single front page. And I lost so many brand deals, relationships off of a story that was not even slightly believable.
Right. Again, I said it. Not even the here's proof he did. No, it's just he did it. And then they back off and the man's career gets derailed. I mean, obviously Jason Derulo is such a big name, but he lost so many brand. How many millions was the he did it cost him? We're talking about millions upon millions, probably more money than most people can comprehend or ever touch in their lives of just, he did it.
She said I sacrificed a goat in a sexual ritual. All people read was the headline, right? And that's all it takes to lose everything.
It does.
That's a crazy concept.
It's not that crazy. It's not that.
It is a crazy concept, Anton. Just because it happens and it's normal doesn't mean it's not crazy of a concept.
Crazy. And I'm not really a big fan of Jason Derulo as far as how he goes about doing business as far as the content side. There's been a lot of conversations about him taking people's content and remix. You know, it's a whole thing with that. That's completely separate from his perspective on his experience on working with women. And this is exactly what men talk about as far as their fears. Men are fearful, especially if you have resources, because you then become a target. And nobody is going to post the response or the vindication and give that as much publicity as the accusation, because it's much more popular and it's much more clickbaity for it to go that other way. And he was.
It's just how social media works, right, Anton? Everybody loves a soliciting, what does he call it? A sizzling headline, right? Everybody wants the sizzle of the drama and everything. Nobody wants to hear good stuff. Nobody wants to hear, Johnny Depp got, acquitted. No, they don't want to hear any stuff like that. They want to hear, oh, Johnny Depp did what? That's what they want to hear.
Wasn't joking. He was telling the absolute truth, and that he was saying that he will never work with women in a capacity in which he would have to privately interact with them because he does not want to be accused of something that he didn't do. And I don't blame him, not even a little bit, not even an ounce, a teeny, a smidget amount, because there's too many guys that have been accused, even vindicated, and they did not get the same visibility or headlines.
And they don't get their sponsorship back. They don't get their contracts back. They don't get their careers back. I mean, look at Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is probably one of the biggest one. I think he does do a little bit of movies here and there. I think I did see a movie about him or something. But his career has not gone back to what it used to be. The man used to be the face of pirates. Like, when you think of a pirate, what do you think of? You think of Johnny Depp, you think of Jack Sparrow, or you think of One Piece and a straw hat. Those are the two visions of pirates that I have in my head. But yeah, never got his career back. Even though the man sued her, was proven that he was not guilty whatsoever, that she was the one that shat on his bed, cut off his finger, and there's still women out there saying he's the evil one, he did it all.
And I wasn't even really familiar with this like this until he just brought it up and this question was asked by Graham. But he's right, and I don't blame him at all.
Nope.
I remember when the whole Me Too thing was popping off, right? And basically guys and I ain't even just talking about big popular singers and all of that type of stuff, movie stars and actors. There were normal, everyday guys that were losing their jobs based off of an accusation alone. Guys were so fearful. Men were so fearful of dealing with women in a personal way or having a conversation or a meeting or a conference where they would actually go and get a female colleague to interact with them or to have a meeting. Couldn't even have a one-on-one. And so I personally know guys that were doing their one-on-one on Zoom calls, and they would let them know beforehand that it was recorded so that they couldn't be accused of something that they didn't do. And there's still a segment of course you're going to have the simps. Of course you're going to have a bunch of people say, oh, no, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Believe all women. But the minute that whole believe all women narrative started to take off, man.
Anton, I remember I went through a story and someone told me the story about them, how HR, sometimes the feminists that are in HR are so feminist man-hating that as soon as they hear of a female coworker being alone with someone, they approach her and even ask her what happened. And they're like, oh, nothing happened. But she was like, oh, that's not supposed to happen. If they meet with you, like that, we can accuse them of things. There's HR people, personnels that are kind of propagating this false narrative and false accusation on men so women can get ahead in life too. I've seen quite a few stories like that. So it's not even just the women themselves that are doing it. No, it's HR department kind of finagling women to do it so more women would get up in life.
There was a lot of women that leveraged it. And they see you as food. They see you as an opportunity. They see you as a come up. They see you as somebody to push. They see you as somebody, to deep dive into and take advantage of. And if it's a financial opportunity that can come with it and you don't even know them, you just signed them, so you're just working with them and trying to promote them so that y'all can get to the money and get to the business. If that don't take off, or if they see a quicker path to success at your demise, and if they have to destroy your reputation to get there, don't think for 1 second that they wouldn't, because it's happened to plenty of guys beforehand. Now, I seen in the comments where somebody said, oh, this isn't a woman thing. This is a character thing. No, men don't accuse women of false sexual allegations and try to ruin their reputation. That is not.
They might do it with other men. Yes, I do agree with that aspect of things, but this is definitely a one-sided sexist thing.
A man thing. That is a woman thing, and that is also a woman that is refusing to hold her sisters accountable and take responsibility for the culture that they've created where men are now operating out of fear because they don't want to interact with women in that capacity. I never thought that I would say this in my entire life, but I'm going to say this right here. The one thing that I agree with Mike Pence on is that Mike Pence would not go in the room with a woman that he did not know without his wife.
The Mike Pence rule.
I think Mike Pence is a snake. I think he is sucker. I think he's going to go down as a turncoat when it came to being loyal to the administration that made him the vice president of the United States of America. But the one thing that Mike Pence said that everybody disagreed with, but I was 100% on board, is that he does not go into a room with a woman unless his wife was with him. You know what Mike Pence ain't never got? A false accusation.
Exactly.
At all.
I lost millions of dollars off of an arbitrary story that some woman told. Like a crazy, crazy story that some woman told.
Yeah, and even an unbelievable story still got ran with.
So, with that being said, how can I be comfortable being in a room with a woman that I work with?
You can't.
And not feel like she can just say whatever she wants.
Yep.
It's like, it's not worth it to me.
When you're in that and losing millions of dollars in brand deals, how are you figuring out how to navigate that?
Man, it's really less about the money.
No, it's all about.
It's about your image, your career, your character, the reputation that you've built.
So no. It's always about the money. Let's not get it confused. It is about the money.
Oh, I think he's saying that it's not about. He's not upset about the money aspect of things, of him losing money. He's upset about what's going on.
Money, man. Like, I have one name that I work so hard to stay clean and stay clean cut. And then, like, somebody can just say, like, you can just say anything.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's the world we live in. You can just say anything.
And this is definitely the one-sided sexist thing, because we can't ruin women's reputation with just an accusation like this. But women can ruin almost any man's reputation with an accusation.
And people take it as gospel. Why was it that those same blogs, those same pages, why didn't they post a dismissal at least?
They don't do it.
Because it wasn't worth anything, as in it wasn't gonna get eyes. It wasn't worth people looking at. People don't care that it wasn't it. They only care that if it was, and possibility was it.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be fair?
Nope.
If you posted
Well,
the
because that's
headline,
not going to get the clicks.
that's so
Yep.
bro, that's so terrible. So it's like people don't talk about the hardships of men, but it's a really, really tough place to be in, especially like when you have something to lose. Like, it's a really, really tough place to be in. We talked about my past relationships and them saying things about me that I haven't responded to. We talked about lawsuits that I haven't really been able to respond to. I really want to respond to the blogs, if you want to be honest. I want to tell them, like, what the is wrong with y'all? Like, after all of these years, like, that I've
I think this is what a lot of men feel like. We wish we could just say something back, but if we were to say anything back or type anything back, we're just seen as the emotional ones, right? That's the problem.
And it's been places that I've done interviews with, and like I've just been so kind and like generous with my time, and then they post that then you don't post the dismissal. It got dismissed twice. You ain't post the second one, you didn't post the first one. Damn. Like, none of that.
I'm feeling. I'm cracking up because he's so emotional about the whole situation. But I absolutely feel him.
It's
Like,
true.
how can I be a good, ally with you and you don't even reach out to me to find out what the truth is, or at least post a dismissal? And I think that that's one of the things that Brian McKnight was saying. It's like, wait a minute, somebody can just come out and say something wild, and then you go
Have to like spend all this money to defend yourself, and they just get off scot-free.
left with it? Really? So I don't know, man. I'm not feeling it. I don't like it. But it is what it is. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments.
And I want to give a big shout outs to Anton Daniels. I really enjoy his content. I've learned a lot from, watching his content and watching him as a creator himself. Like the way he kind of goes about things, the way he carries himself, how a wonderful father he is, a good husband. I think he's a very good role model for a lot of us men within this space, or just men in general. I'm not saying everything he does I agree with, but he seems like a very stable, well-mannered, well-leveled kind of man. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that, and I'll catch you guys next time.